Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming here tonight. On behalf of the Deboer Rowse family and their legal team, and what used to be Michigan Marriage Challenge, but now you can see is known as National Marriage Challenge, we are very excited to announce to you tonight that our case has officially been accepted by the United States Supreme Court. So obviously we could not possibly be more excited. As many of you know who have been case for a long time, we initially filed this case back 3 years ago, January of 2012, when we filed this as an adoption case. A little bit after that, in September of 2012, it was amended to a marriage case. So this case has been a long time coming, and it's been a long road and journey, but hopefully soon we'll know that it's worth the wait. And we very much hope that when our case is heard and when there's been a disposition by the Supreme Court, that marriage equality will be the law of the land, not just here in the state of Michigan, but for all 50 states. And if I could say on behalf of our legal team, how thrilled and proud we are to be able to represent April and Jane, and not just now through all the other courts we've been to, but at the highest court of the land, at the Supreme Court, and we are very, very much looking forward to being able to present our case. So without further ado, April and Jane.
We are just thrilled and happy about today, and we are really looking forward to going on to the Supreme Court, winning marriage equality in the United States now.
Not just Michigan. Not just Michigan. You're done. She's done. I'm with April. I mean, this is probably the proudest day in my great lesbian life that I've had, and we're in awe that this day has happened. We're proud and thrilled to be the people who are representing Michigan and representing Dana and Carol and Ken and all of our attorneys who worked so hard in this case. They're really the unsung heroes of this, and we're so looking forward to our day. And I'm sure everyone who is here and who's not here is looking forward to this day too. And it's overwhelming. That's what I'm going to say, is this is just so overwhelming, and we're incredibly grateful.
We do have a few minutes if anybody wants to ask any questions for April and Jane or of the legal team about how things are going to proceed from here. Please go ahead.
What do you know about the questions? I'll ask this of an attorney. What do you know about the questions that are with the Supreme Court? The court asked two questions. One had to do with marriage. The second had to do with marriage recognition. So the two states that have marriage issues are Michigan, of course, and Kentucky. And then the other three states, well, Kentucky has also a recognition question, and then Ohio and Tennessee are on recognition. We're going to decide that as a team, and we also have to divide it up with the other states now. So that remains to be seen how it's all going to shake out. But
because so many of us don't know how this process works, Carol, can you tell us if April and Jane will do any testimony before the justices?
no, it's a court of appeal, so all the record has been completed. So that's what the trial was for. It's an appeal. We'll brief each side, and then it's an argument, and the court makes a decision.
So how's it gonna decide how much time each state will have?
Well, what they've said so far is that the marriage question has 90 minutes and the recognition case has 90 minutes. And so half of that is going to be divided amongst the state, and then the other side would be the plaintiffs in these cases. So we would have about 45 minutes amongst Kentucky and ourselves.
Can you talk about what it means for the whole country and why this is so long overdue?
See what I'm trying to.
I mean, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that it seems as though this has taken a very long time. You know, probably in historical terms, it really hasn't. In fact, the same-sex marriage movement, if you will, has probably moved pretty quickly if you compare it to any other civil rights movements. But if you are a person that is affected by these laws that discriminate against same-sex couples and their families, if you are April and Jane and their children, this cannot possibly come soon enough, because every single day that we wait and every day that these couples are unprotected and they don't have the same securities and the same protections as other families is a day that literally disaster could strike at any time. So that's why it's just so incredibly important that the Supreme Court decide this issue, that it be decided once and for all, and that it apply to all 50 states of the Union.
Yeah, April and Jane, if you're getting closer to setting a date now that this is the highest court.
You know, we've had discussions about our marriage and getting married, but no, we have not set a date. We still have a long road ahead of us and a long fight ahead of us. So we are in a lot of planning. Yeah, we can't plan a wedding that quickly. So that will be a discussion in the near future.
Can you talk about being an inspiration?
I don't, you know, it's hard to think of us as an inspiration for other couples. We set out for a goal, and that goal was equality for our family. We are proud that we're affecting so many other families, and proud that we are an inspiration for other families. It's a little overwhelming to think of it that way. I think that, you know, we saw something that was wrong and we decided we needed to make it right. And, you know, to anybody else, what I'll say to you is stand up for what you believe in, because that's what we're doing.
Dana, going to the Supreme Court sounds very expensive. How is this case being funded?
Well, Steve, I'm glad you asked that question. As many of you know, it's been a bit of a struggle for us because, you know, we were not affiliated financially, at least, with any major institutional, you know, LGBT or civil rights groups or anything like that from a financial perspective. So what we have done at this point is we've had the good fortune of these wonderful people that you see behind us. Formerly Michigan Marriage Challenge, we're now known as National Marriage Challenge. And, you know, the people that you see who are here supporting us, I mean, they come from all walks of life, gay and straight, young and old. And they're people who are just residents, local residents of the state of Michigan and of our communities where we all live, who want to support the case and who believe in equal rights for all. So they are assisting us in our efforts to fundraise so that we can raise money so that we can actually get everything that we need to do so that we can go to the Supreme Court and present the absolute best briefs and the best arguments possible to have the best chance to win this case, not just for Michigan, but of course for the entire nation. So if anyone wants to go to www.nationalmarriagechallenge.com, they can find out all about our 501c3. All contributions are tax deductible.
So can you tell us where you were when you heard the news and what you're going to do to celebrate?
Well,
Well, let's see. We were
We were home.
We were home. I believe that we were playing, the kids were playing Wii, and we were sitting on the couch. I think I had just called Dana to ask her a question about something, and she said, hey, wait a minute, I think it's in. So we were all together as a family at that point in time. The kids were, when Jane and I, kind of let out a cheer, the kids all ran around the house screaming. I still don't think that they realized what they were screaming for, but they were very excited.
As we were excited.
As we were excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just at home with the kids. And I just want to say, for me, I want to thank everybody who is actually standing behind us. We don't get it very often, a chance to thank them. We are running in and out of a lot of the events that they have planned and a lot of the fundraisers. But this group of people have stood behind us for the entire fight. And I want to say thank you to all of you, too.
Do you imagine your kids, they're a little too young now, but maybe when they're older, that they'll be able to look back at what their parents did and sort of be proud of that? Do you think about that?
Have I thought about it? No. Now that you mention it. I think that our kids, they are too young to get it, but they know that marriage is important to us. So my son just out of the blue said today, I want to marry you. When are we going to get married? And I said, well, I want to marry you too, but it's going to be a little while before, moms can get married. And he was kind of like, I don't get it, but so I think in the future they'll look back and go, oh, that's what we went to all those photo shoots for. And I think they'll be proud. At least I hope they'll be proud that we did this really, initially for them, but then for everybody.
Does anyone have any questions about anything procedurally that you're interested in beyond what Carol mentioned?
I do have a question, actually. What does it mean for the Michigan case that they're all going to be handled together? Does it mean anything specific for you guys?
Cert was granted in all 4 cases, and therefore all of us are parties. And so, whatever goes for one case is going to carry for the rest of them. So whatever decision is reached in the marriage case, on the marriage question, that will apply to Kentucky and Tennessee, and then whatever is reached on marriage recognition, that'll apply to the other 3 states. So they're all parties. It's a single judgment from the 6th Circuit that has been appealed, and that's part of the reason why we're all together.
And you'll be 45 minutes for Michigan's case.
We'll see how we're going to divide it up. We haven't decided that. We haven't even talked to anybody yet about that. The court is kind of going to be a back and forth with us about how we want to handle it.
But you'll
So
be with Kentucky.
we'll be with Kentucky on our issue. That's right.
And you guys will get 90 minutes together, and then you decide how you'll split that up.
No, we get 45 between, we get 45 between ourselves and Kentucky, and then the states of Kentucky and Michigan, the Attorney General, they get 45 minutes. Actually, they've given us a date range. It's either going to be the 27th, the 28th, or the 29th, which is, I think it's the very last oral arguments of the session, and I think they're looking at the 28th. What's that? Of April, I'm sorry, April 28th. We're not sure about that. We're sure about the date range. We're not sure about that it's going to be the 28th.
If there's any public interest, obviously we've had some big developments this week. This was our case, Deboer v. Snyder, but of course there was a big case yesterday. If anybody is interested in having any questions regarding how that relates to the marriages that were performed on March 22nd, 2014, following the ruling in our case, Ken can answer those questions. Anybody have any questions in regard to that? No? Okay.
If you could talk a little bit about how this might affect the 300 or so marriages.
In Judge Goldsmith's opinion yesterday, he was very clear and correct that the issue of recognition is separate from the issue of marriage. These were marriages that were lawfully performed under the laws of the state on March 22nd. And no matter what happens in this case, those marriages are lawful. And his opinion was extremely scholarly and setting out the basis for that. On the other hand, it's also, in the event we are successful, and we're going to continue working as hard as we can to be successful, if we are successful, that would eliminate any possible question that could even arguably be raised as to other marriages.
The second question in the order today, it seems like they're hedging. Does that concern you, or did you expect that second question?
The cases went up to the Sixth Circuit with the marriage issues from Michigan and Kentucky, the recognition issues. They've been a part and parcel of this litigation around the country, and it makes sense that the justices are interested in hearing a separate argument on those issues, that set of issues, as well as on the marriage issues.
Just add one word to that. I think taking both marriage and marriage recognition, I think indicates that the court is ready now to answer the issues broadly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, does anybody have any last questions before we wrap this up? Anyone? All right, well, thanks again to everybody for coming here today and for following our case. We hope that you'll continue to follow the case throughout the remainder of the proceedings. And we look forward to hopefully seeing a lot of you at the end of April in Washington, D.C. So thanks everybody for coming here.